Hi guys, Al DeMarco here, and this is going to be your Friday video report. Last night, cashed in with yet another free play winner, giving you the Chicago Bulls, who of course delivered an overtime at Milwaukee, 21-12 run with complimentary plays here over the past 2 weeks. And tonight I'm going to take a look at two of your three NBA games. The first one being Houston at Dallas, and the second one going to be the Clippers and the Spurs. Those breakdowns coming your way in just a moment. Congratulations going out to Brian Rosica yesterday. He was the half-price play of the day, and he delivered with a 100-dime winner as the Cavaliers got the job done. That was on the heels of hitting a 100-dimer in the playoffs as well on Golden State in the first half against Memphis last weekend in game number 1 of that series. Tonight, 100-dime max wager winner number 13 out of 16. And again, you get it for half price simply by using the coupon code HALF, H-A-L-F. FYI, Craig Davis, who's also red hot, going after winning day number 8 out of 9 with a fifth 40-dime winner in a row. Well, he's on the opposite side of this game. And the reason I tell you that, if you happen to already have Craig Davis's play, there's no need to buy Brian Rosica's or vice versa. So hopefully that helps you out. Also today, Steve Buden's number 1 NBA crew out of New York, 50-dime playoff winner number 10 out of 11. They hit all 5 finals games last year, all 50-dime plays. They've started this postseason by hitting 4 out of 5, so it's number 10 out of 11 tonight. It's your Washington-Toronto side. Matches last night's winner on New Orleans, a 50-dime play. You save $70 on the purchase price by using coupon code NYC. NYC. All your other promos, discounts, etc. are over on the homepage. Let's get with it and talk about these games here tonight. You know, I always talk about a team that is coming back home for game number 3 of a best-of-7 series, trailing 2-0 as playing its last stand game. You had 2 such situations last night. New Orleans playing to keep alive. Yes, they failed, but great competitive game. You had Milwaukee, same exact scenario last night, playing to stay alive because, listen, first round of the playoffs especially, you go down 3-0, bye-bye. You're probably going to get swept or it's going to be over in 5 anyway. Both the Bucks and the Pelicans last night put on their last stand performance. The question is, can the Dallas Mavericks do the same here tonight? I'll tell you what, guys, there is nothing in this series that has shown me that the Mavericks can be competitive. However, this is going to be one of those games, to use another cliche, where I think they're going to circle the wagons. Because, listen, Rick Carlisle did the best thing in the world, sitting Rajon Rondo. Because, listen, Rondo has never been a fit. I remember I was in Dallas the day that he got acquired from Boston. I'm reading the Dallas Morning News and listening to the different sports talk stations, and they're talking about this like this is going to make the Mavericks into a championship contending team. And I'm going, he's a malcontent. I mean, hasn't he always been a malcontent? I mean, even when he was up in Boston, but he wasn't part of the big 3 up there, you know? I mean, he was like the next guy. He was 3A. And I'm thinking, my God, the Mavericks, a lousy defensive team, they needed somebody with size to help Tyson Chandler on the boards. They went out and got a point guard. I never understood the trade. But listen, by exiling him, I'm sorry, I forgot. He has a bad back. That's why he's not playing in the rest of this series. Yes, he's not being exiled. But listen, Carlisle made a move because, listen, the team knew that Rondo wasn't a fit. And I got to believe that the team feels that this is the best thing for them right now, especially since they've got to be uber focused on tonight's game against the Rockets. Now, you look at how the Rockets won these first 2 games. James Harden, who did not torch the Mavericks during the regular season, has not torched them here either. Yes, he's averaged 24 points, or he scored 24 points in each of the first 2 games, but he's only shooting 9 for 28 in the series. What has been advantageous is because he's been driving to the hole so often, he's been able to get to the free throw line. Now, what has helped the the Rockets so much in this series is that in game number 1, they had 7 players in double-figure scoring. In game number 2, they had 4. But listen, you had Josh Smith, who had his, usual 1 great game out of every 13. And you had Corey Brewer, both coming off the bench with 15 points each in that contest to supplant the performances by Harden, who had 24, and Dwight Howard, who after being limited to 17 minutes because of foul trouble in the series opener, played 33 minutes. Now, that's the most he has played since returning from his latest knee injury. Well, he had 28 points and 12 rebounds in that game. Yet, the Mavericks, I thought they would be out-rebounded badly in this series. But they have held their own on the boards with Chandler and Nowitzki both doing yeoman-like jobs. Tonight, without Rondo, you're going to hopefully have Devin Harris back after missing the first 2 games of the series because of a toe injury. And you're probably going to have J.J. Barrera, maybe starting the backcourt alongside Monta Ellis. You know, I look at the Mavericks, and their biggest failure here, it's not because of Rondo. It's not because of Chandler Parsons, who's gone for the rest of the series. But I look at Monta Ellis, who has just been awful in the series. 8 for 23 in the last game. Yeah, 24 points, but he shot 5 for 16 in the first game. You cannot have your top gunner, and especially for a guy who may want to be going the free agent route as well, you can't have him shooting 13 for 39 in the first 2 games of a series. So I'm looking for, again, in another cliche, the Mavericks to circle the wagons tonight in a last-stand performance. I think they win this game. They're currently anywhere from pick 'em to a 1-point favorite in the contest. Now, San Antonio and the LA Clippers. You know, I've been pretty much right on the money in this series for you here. I told you that the Clippers would win number 1 over the weekend as a free pick, and I told you I'd still like the Spurs to actually win the series. And I also told you before game 1 and after game number 1 and game number 2 that I thought the Achilles heel for the Clippers would be simply their lack of depth. I don't have to go into the numbers again, but suffice to say that, Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan and Chris Paul have exceeded their normal minutes that they averaged during the regular season in the first 2 games of this series. Again, the Clippers had the 29th most productive bench in the NBA this year. Nothing has changed here in the postseason. Nothing at all. I mean, their bench has accounted for next to nothing in this series, and nothing's going to change here tonight because after you get by Jamal Crawford, you don't have nothing. I think San Antonio has an inherent advantage here tonight because they got the momentum. They got the win they needed in overtime in game number 2. They stole the home court advantage back, and you also have a San Antonio team that is coming back home. Now, I think the other advantage that they have is that there is no rest in this series. And yeah, the Spurs are an older team than the Clippers, but a Clippers team with no bench is now playing 2 days later after losing in overtime when they had a chance to take commanding, perhaps stranglehold lock on this series 2-love, and they couldn't. That's why I'm willing to lay the 4.5 points with the Spurs in this contest. Now, Tony Parker's hurt again. Don't we talk about Tony Parker being hurt just about every single postseason, it seems, lately? Achilles injury once more limited his effectiveness. Hey, they had Patty Mills come off the bench and had 18 points. I think 8 of them were in the overtime session. You still got Manu Ginobili, who can run the show when he's out there on the floor anyway. So I'm not too much worried about Tony Parker. If I'm a Clippers fan, I'm worried about the fact that every time you send DeAndre Jordan to the free throw line, well, only bad things are going to happen. 6 for 17 in the line in game number 2 after 2 for 5 in the opener. The guy just can't hit the broad side of the barn when he's standing at the charity stripe. That's the bottom line. Do I expect the Spurs to have another magnificent performance from Tim Duncan? No. I don't see him going 14 for 23 with 28 points and 11 rebounds as he did in game number 2. But I do expect the Spurs returning back home to again shoot well. Remember, they were just out of sorts in the first half, especially in game number 1. In that loss by double digits at LA on Sunday, they only shot 36.6%. But in game number 2, they shot 46.2%. And now they're coming back home. And let's not forget, this is a team that, had won 11 in a row and 17 out of 21 games before losing the season finale to New Orleans on the road and before losing game number 1 to the Clippers on the road. Now they're back home. I got to go with the Spurs and lay the 4.5 points as your other free pick. That'll do it, guys. Best of luck to you all. And I'll catch you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.